So yesterday we talked about how our energy depends so much on our emotions, how we feel. And the reason for that is because when we perceive a situation, our thoughts based on a certain situations are positive thoughts. We foresee something good happening, we're excited, we're having fun, it's a happy circumstance. Then our brain sends those little messages throughout the body that make us feel happy, because something good is happening. The serotonin, the dopamine, we're anticipating something great, or something great is already happening and we're enjoying ourselves. So now we're having these, very happy emotions, and we automatically become filled. Our tank becomes full, our little battery becomes full. But when we are in a situation where our thoughts feel like we're in danger, then the opposite thing happens. Like maybe something bad is going to happen, and we start thinking these negative thoughts. We automatically basically our body starts producing the stress hormones, which is cortisol and adrenaline. And when those hormones are produced, we automatically start losing energy. We lose the battery, basically becomes drained, and we're doing what we talked about yesterday, which is spinning the wheels, and not in a way like the windmill that is spinning and it's actually but getting the energy from the wind, being transformed, being converted, spinning for positive. But when we spin for negative is when basically like a car that is idling, that is spinning and not moving, because it's just ruminating and thinking about the negative things. And what happens is we become fully drained, fatigued, and exhausted. So we talked about that, and I said there is a reason why sometimes we tend to think a certain way, even though maybe the reality would be different for someone else. And that has to do with our subconscious. And I talked about childhood a little bit, because it doesn't have to be just childhood, but it's previous events, because our subconscious learns from our circumstances, from what it's, experienced. So let's say that as a child, an adult treated you poorly or said something very negative, and they're the adult, they're the big one, and you're the little one. The child automatically feels like it's their fault. So the paradox is, even though they are a victim in that situation, they feel like it's their fault. So there's shame associated, there's guilt, and there's fear of punishment, fear of rejection, fear of abandonment. So all of that registers in the body as to when there's danger involved. Not only there is the possibility of negative things happening, but there's also the guilt, so that shame. And so what happens is now that's memorized in the body. So as an adult, sometimes something happens, like we make a mistake, let's say, or you go on audition, you don't get the job, and now automatically you start thinking, oh, I'm not going to have money to pay my bill. Or you go for a job interview, you don't get the job, and you're going to think, oh, no, I'm not going to have enough money, I'm not going to have a job, instead of thinking, oh, I didn't get that one, I'm going to get something better than that one. Oh, that job wasn't meant for me, I'm going to get another job that is going to be better. So it's kind of looking at it differently. But what happens, not only there's that fear involved in the way that we think, but there's also the shame attached to it, where we feel like it's our fault, we're guilty for it. And so that is what creates that hormone that is cortisol. It's the stress hormone. And because in childhood sometimes it's not just a one-time thing, but it's a lifestyle where now the body has learned to live in that kind of self-protection and not knowing what's going to happen, and there's cortisol all the time. So now the body has memorized that, and in the present that has a big effect, because when the serotonin is not produced, then we automatically suppress positive emotions and are more prone towards the negative emotions. And so it's kind of a vicious cycle, because the more prone you are, the more you have these negative emotions, the more negative, stressful hormones. And so you lose the energy. And this is why, we can become very depleted of energy and feel very unmotivated for life. And it's a process that is not really conscious. It's completely, not only not making energy, it's not having energy is not your fault because you don't make energy and you don't destroy energy. But also, that's not your fault that something bad is happening and now you don't have any energy, because that's something that your body is just automatically learned. So the homework from this, the takeaway is, then in the next day or in the future, when you have an opportunity to look at a certain fact, so to speak, a certain circumstance, you can look at that circumstance and notice how your mind is thinking about it. You know, the classic half empty or half full, you know, the glass half empty, half full is kind of based on that idea. But it's like when you look at the situation and you start thinking, oh, maybe this is dangerous, or thoughts that lead you into that place of not just being a victim of the situation, but actually feeling guilty and shame for it, that you can possibly recognize that and kind of immediately make a little snap with your hand and say, no, I'm going to shift my thinking. Because you can shift your emotion. Once your emotion is there, that's really difficult to change. What needs to change is your thinking about it. And this is why we need each other, because sometimes when you talk to someone else, they can see that you're just in that spinning mode that is idling and going down and you know, spiraling down. And so, and they can say something to you that will kind of wake you up from that kind of form of hypnosis and be like, no, stop. And we can do that for ourselves. So that's the homework, you know. Don't try to change your emotion. Try to change what you think about what's happening, okay? Because when you change how you think, it's going to change how you feel. And from that, you're going to gain new energy. And when you get the new energy, you'll have more of a solution-oriented mind. You'll have energy cannot be created, but with energy you can create a new solution, a new future, a new situation, whatever it is. So that's your homework. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about, is there such a thing as negative energy or positive and negative energy? So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Okay, so please do your homework, check your thoughts, don't try to change your emotions, only change how you view the situation, how you think about that situation, and see what happens to your body. Okay, I know you're gonna get a lot more energy. Anyhow, that's it for today. I love you very much, and thank you so much for listening and for wanting to get more energy in life so you can do more. By the way, the definition for energy is the ability to do work. Isn't it great? That's what energy is. It's not something that you can see or you can touch. It's just that power that allows you to do stuff. Isn't it great? Anyway, that's it. Love you. Bye.